Ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between, welcome back to another episode of Books and Buds, where we discuss the books that don't get the attention they deserve, and we also discuss a little bit about the medical marijuana community up here in the beautiful state of Maine. So, I didn't make a video last week, some of you were aware, because you tuned into my station. Well, it was just busy with the holidays, and in between Christmas and New Year's, we have my birthday, so I turned 40, and we decided that we were going to actually celebrate it and do some nice things. So we traveled down to Massachusetts to visit friends and family and invite whoever the hell wanted to come. And it was busy. But that's all right, because I'm back this week with one hell of a good book. It's called Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. That's right, that NG in the title of this video is pronounced Ng, for anyone else that had trouble with that name. So the poor author, I had to look it up because I had no idea how to pronounce it for this video, but I found it, Celeste Ng. Please look her up. I will be leaving a link for this book in the description below because it was just awesome. Like I said, I don't review books I don't like normally. I reviewed one by a friend of mine that I didn't think was the best, but I still thought it was good enough to earn a review. And plus, she's a good person. But normally, I review books that were wonderful, and this one is getting 5 stars from me. It was a traditionally published novel, and it was based around this Chinese-American family living in America back in the 50s, where things were a little tumultuous between other races. So when I originally started reading it, it involved this little white boy named Jack, and he was giving the older brother of this Chinese-American family a difficult time for just looking a little different. So at first I was a little disappointed because I was like, oh great, here's another one of these white people are evil books. You know, it's kind of like that comedy bit from comedian Bill Burr. He's like, how many of these white people are evil movies are they going to make? Well, I'm a big book guy, so I kind of had the same feelings towards these books, you know, how many of them are they going to make? I just get so anxious ridden about how many people hate me. But anyways, it didn't turn out to be one of those books, you know. It was just developing this young boy, Nath, who was the older Chinese-American brother. Because the book revolves around this family of Chinese-Americans, the father, the mother, the older brother, the young sister, and the middle sister. So it's a book about teenage suicide, because the middle sister, Lydia, commits suicide. And this book pretty much just bounces back and forth between the aftermath of the girl's suicide and the times leading up to the suicide. So it was very strange because this girl's suicide is kind of what brought this entire family together, as well as this young boy, Jack. She turned out to be the glue that brought it all back together and made everything kind of a happy ending. It was very strange how Celeste did it, but it was beautiful. You know, because sometimes it takes an event like that to realize how much we're neglecting the other people in our lives, the people that we love and the people that we're supposed to be supporting. So this boy Jack was very good friends with Lydia, and he was kind of a stud in school, slept with almost all the girls. But Celeste, Lydia was different. They became really good friends, and Lydia's older brother, Nath, wasn't as supportive as he used to be. He got accepted into Harvard, and he just wanted out. He wanted out of the house. He wanted to get the same kind of love from the parents that Lydia was getting, because Lydia's mother wanted her daughter to receive the same support and have a better chance at life than she did, because her mother just wanted her to find a good husband and become a good wife. Well, this woman wanted more for her daughter than that and was very, very pushy about it. And it ended up driving Lydia to a point of extreme depression that no one in the family seemed to notice except for the very, very youngest daughter, Hannah. But she was too young to really make sense of any of it and didn't know how to express her feelings or opinions or to even know how to bring them up to the rest of the family. So unfortunately, these are the events that led to the suicide. This young girl was pressured. The older brother, who was not receiving any attention at all because Lydia was getting it all, was very resentful towards his sister because of it and ended up pushing her away, and that really turned out to be the final straw. It really did. But fortunately, this boy Jack was there for her, but just not as much and not in the capacity that Lydia needed him to be. And it all kind of drove her over the edge. And Celeste I don't know how she managed to do it. I mean, I'm a writer myself, and I sometimes beat myself up because I feel that I lack the talent that some of these other writers that I review have. And hopefully the people that try my book out, Corpse Lily, when it comes out, or who might be reading my book, Yesterday's Wounds, that's going to be appearing in the box set coming out later this year. Hopefully you guys will be a little more generous than I am to myself, but as an artist, I do tend to beat myself up a little bit for not being as what I think that I should be compared to my idols anyways. And this book really did make me feel like, holy cow, dude, you got a lot to learn. She just did such a wonderful job. It was a literary piece, too. And as much as I love literary fiction, I have a hard time writing it because there's just so much involved. It is just so beautiful the way a lot of these writers craft these characters. And Celeste Ng is no exception. She just did a wonderful job developing the characters in this Chinese family and developing this young boy Jack, just developing this neighborhood in Toledo, Ohio, and just developing the angst, just felt by everybody in those times, post-war America. And for a family of foreign descent, that doesn't look like anybody else, she really had a good way of making me as a white guy, I could totally understand. I get it, I get it. I'm going to be going to Guatemala in a couple months with my girlfriend to meet her family, and I'm sure I'm going to be feeling like quite the outsider. I'm going to be among a lot of people who don't speak my language and a lot of people who don't look like me. And it's going to be very frightening. But, something, people are beautiful. There's more beautiful people out there than there are bad. So I'm not even really worried about it. But it makes you look around your own neighborhoods where you might see a lot of white people. Because up here in Maine, I'm from Massachusetts. We're pretty mixed down there. But up here in Maine, it's mostly white people. I've heard other races refer to it as the Great White North, jokingly, of course. But I can see where they're coming from, and I can see why some people might feel nervous moving here for the first time. But there's so many people out there that are just big, open-hearted people. They just accept anyone that's different with arms wide open to try to make them feel accepted, and aren't trying to really make them adapt to the culture so much as just, show them that they appreciate who they are as an individual. So, of course, you can't come to another country and expect everyone to change for you. But it is nice to come to a country and be accepted, for who you are. So that's kind of what she does in this book, because the father wanted the children to adapt and to be just like everybody else. And this boy, Jack, that's kind of what he liked about Lydia, that she wasn't like all the other girls. And he didn't want to take advantage of her. He actually wanted to be her friend. He respected her. He respected the brother, and that was partially the reason for his youthful ignorance, is because he didn't know how to accept this kid's differences. Just a beautiful book. I really, really suggest reading it yourself. I'm going to be leaving it 5 stars on Amazon. I'm also going to be leaving a link for it in the description below, because I think it's so important to read books, not just from your own culture, not just from people who look like you, but just everyone and everything. This book's is written from a woman, and she's of Asian descent. I like to read books written by gay people, transgender people, black people, and of course white people too, because we have opinions and everyone's just different, and it's just a nice way of getting to know everyone else in this world around you without having to live their lives, because you do see the world through their eyes when you read a book written by somebody that's different than you, and I think that's valuable. I really do. And this book really helped me to ease my own tension of feeling hated inside my own country by books that are just trying to push this whole white people are evil agenda, and movies that are trying to push the white people are evil agenda. You know what? Some of these people, it's just their way of describing their own agonies, I guess. And I'm just trying to understand that as best I can, because I'm only human too, guys. So keep reading. You could have checked into any book review channel. You decided to check into this one. I appreciate the hell out of you for it. Love you guys. Happy New Year. Happy 2020.